You turned state's evidence in.
Well, I told him I only wanted to win $1,000.
Okay, okay.
I didn't care anything about that. Now, being you've got a deck of cards here, I think I'll do one magic trick for you.
I would love for you to do one. I could sit and watch this all night, honestly. I'm a great audience.
Just listen this time.
Okay.
This is undoubtedly the greatest card trick that anybody will ever do. There isn't a magician can do it, but yours truly. I'm not modest, I never have been.
Okay. Okay.
I've written 23 books instead of 14.
Okay.
Now, there's a deck of cards you brought over. Would you mind selecting any card you wish?
Yes.
Take it out. Well, we'll use 2 pencils. Now, before I turn my back, I don't have to turn my back. Your deck hasn't even been shuffled up as yet, if you notice.
That's correct.
While I turn my back, would you mark that card for identification on the face? Any mark you desire.
Okay.
On the face of the card. I'll turn my back.
All right. You're turning your back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then tear a corner off, too, and retain the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no, but don't throw it away. Retain it because we want to match it.
Okay.
Don't let me touch it at all. And hold the card up to the camera naturally.
Here we are over here. And there's the corner I've torn off.
And place the card back in the deck. Now watch my hands closely. The card you selected, this is your own deck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do this in slow motion. I'm going to let you see that the card is still in the deck with the corner off. Which card was it again?
Jack of diamonds.
Jack of diamonds. I want you to see it. Jack of diamonds. Now watch my fingers. I'm going to give it one cut. And we saw the Jack of diamonds. And a little bit of a flip. And we're going to flip the deck out this way. Now I'm going to reach into my pocket. I should do this a little slower. Up. Come on out here. And I happen to have a wallet with, how many rubber bands are on it?
Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 this way, 2 that way.
6, and we'll take this deck, and we'll just show there's no ace of diamonds. Nevertheless, look, we'll take these rubber bands off slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the hands are empty. Inside where the money should be, there's one little card. And watch, we'll take it out real slowly. The card happens to be the Jack of diamonds. You got your
wow,
mark.
I've got the mark and I've got the corner. Oh, John, that is fantastic. Thank you. That is really sensational. Thank you very, wow.
And one more with your deck.
Okay.
A card trick. Then we're going to go into gambling.
Okay. Yeah, I want to get to that because so many people want to do that, John.
Well, let's go to that. We'll do a card trick to finish up at the end, all right?
All right, that's fine. When people go into these casinos, let's take the games one by one. Let's start with blackjack, because that's probably the most popular game people play when they go to a casino.
And you want to see what happens. Well, as a matter of fact, today, casinos in Nevada and elsewhere, they're all honest. They don't do any cheating anymore.
Okay.
But I'm going to demonstrate some things that can happen, both in poker and blackjack and anything else. Now, here's a deck of cards from the Caribbean Hilton Casino. See the mark on them?
I sure do.
The reason why all gamblers use B cards, that's why I didn't want to use the other ones. They're awfully soft. They're 2-ply and they're very soft. Now, this deck of cards, if you watch, I'm going to shuffle them slowly. And you say when you feel like stopping, anytime.
Okay.
Anytime I can continue. If you
No,
like.
that's okay. That's enough.
All right. Now we're going to go a little further. I'm going to ask you to tell me to stop anytime you see fit.
Okay, right there's fine.
I'm going to deal them slowly. I'm going to deal a 4-handed game, show you. A little deuce, a king, and an ace. This baby here is another little deuce, a little 10, a little king, and a little ace. The third little deuce. How would you like me playing poker?
I want to be this guy over here.
Right, that's me. The third 10, third, and the little ace of diamonds. Now we go with this baby, the 2 of diamonds, the 10, and the king, and we got 4 aces. Now, I'm going to do one stunt. I've never tried it on TV before. I'm going to, cutting an ace, or cutting a card at will, is the acme for any gambler. If he can cut any card he wishes.
At will.
He's going to win all the money there is. Because at the end, you cut high stakes. You cut a card, you cut the ace, say, let's play for the, how much do you win? You win 1,000. I got 1,000. Let's see who gets the 2,000. Now remember, I may miss by 1 card because I'm going to try to cut the 4 aces, not 1, 2, 3, or 4. And this is after they're all shuffled, and they're cut and everything else. You shuffle them down first.
Right.
Oh, very good shuffle.
Well, not too bad.
Good. And
What do you mean good? I'll give him one. No,
And I'm going to take the 4 aces, and I'm going to place them on top of the deck, and I'm going to give this deck a cut. And I'm going to shuffle them, too. Okay. Got to have a lot of nerve to try this on TV.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And this is a regulation deck of cards, and I'm going to leave it here for you. Would you mind cutting the deck? I'm going to see if I can't cut the ace of clubs first.
All right.
Should be the 16 card from the top of the deck. I do that, and I come up. Would you mind cutting the deck?
Mm-hmm.
We're looking for ace of diamonds.
Okay.
Look away because you do this by touch.
Oh.
And once again. Carry to cut yourself. All right. We've still got 2 cards. Ace of hearts and the ace of spades.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to miss this by 1. I'll let you know if I do after I touch them.
Okay.
I've got to go down further down. Huh? I kind of told you. I got it.
Ace of hearts.
And I also had the ace of spades, which is now on the bottom.
Oh, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. I have to do a commercial here, Johnny, but when we come back, just a couple of tips on dice and blackjack in the casinos, please, because people really need this.
Well, it's all according. For example, that if the dealer has the best time to split pairs is when the dealer shows a 5, a 4, 5, or 6. That is the best time.
Mm-hmm.
And a doubling down, the best time to double down when you have a count of 11.
7-4, 9-2,
Anyway,
6-5, sure. What about a count of 10?
Now, in Nevada, well, that doesn't give you any particular edge, it's just a little, but today in Nevada they have a bet they call a surrender, in Atlantic City too, all over the world. And the first time that I broke it down in my new book, Scarne's Guide to Casino Gambling.
Scarne's Guide to Casino Gambling.
They have no idea, I mean, there's not an operator in Nevada has the slightest idea. They know it earns money. Whereas that if a player gets a hand that he believes he's going to bust with, if he gets 16 or 15 and he looks at it and he says he can surrender the bet and the house retains 50% of the bet. They retain, if you bet 100, they take 50.
Right, throw it in for half, right.
Now they got a man here from California, and a couple of the casinos, they call him Dr. Surrender. He is a doctor. He's lost over 100, well, I would say roughly over $100,000 a week, a dozen different times. And most of his bets are on surrender. He's given half of that money away, so they call him surrender, and they kind of ridicule. But in the book, it's the first time it's broken down mathematically. Now, Ricky J. before, he's talking about to be able to spot a deck of marked cards. Now, here's how you spot a deck of marked cards. During World War II, they called it the Scarne riffle. If you want to spot a deck of marked cards, no matter who the person is watching, you take the deck in your hand and you hold it in that fashion, and you just riffle it. Sort of, you remember when you were a kid, you had those animated cartoons?
Sure, yeah, yeah.
Well, this thing here goes, the marker card, they have to put a mark in the corner, one over on the left, and further over like ace, king, queen, jack, and 10. Mm-hmm. So when you do that, these marks start moving. When you see them moving, you know that's the deck that's been marked.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Ricky was going to do that before when he was clowning around. But that's the particular cut, the particular riffle. Now, during World War II, I came up with a cut. That's been used during the World War II. All the GIs used it, and it's used today in an awful lot of spots. Like, for example, now if you take the ace of spades there, and you give the deck a cut, see? This is what we call a running cut. The ace hasn't left, it's still on top. Now, to be able to prevent that from happening, if a deck is stacked or anything like that, this is a cut that everyone should use if they're playing cards and they suspect something, even when they don't suspect them. Instead of cutting the cards in this regular fashion, you merely take a group out of the center, take a group out like that, and then you cut in the regular fashion. Or you take them out, you put them on the top, and you cut in a regular fashion. Mm-hmm. No matter what kind of a stack there is.
That'll
kill it. That'll kill it.
Pull them out of the center.
That's right. Put them on top and cut the deck.
And then cut the deck in the regular fashion.
That's the one I invented for the Army, the GIs during World War II. Called the Scarne cut very modestly, as usual.
Yes. Okay.
But
I want to ask you about dice before we're out of time, John.
Yeah.
What are bad bets and good bets at a crap table?
See, there are about 40 different bets at a dice table.
That's why people get confused. There are so many bets.
There are proposition bets. We call those one-roll bets, like betting the 2 aces, coming out on one roll at pay 30 to 1 and sometimes 29 to 1. Now, with all those bets on that table there's only one bet that's really good. And they're advertising what they call double odds in Nevada or on all the marquees. A number of casinos, not all of them. But if the casino had only players that would play that, they'd have to close up. And the bet is this: the pass line, you know, that long string that's marked there,
yes,
the pass
sir.
line. Well, that has 1.414 against you, which means it's 1 2/5% against you, which is 7 cents on $5. That's what the house takes, but it's hidden. You don't see it. Now, after you make that wager, you're entitled to bet the same amount of money
Back of the line.
So that's right. So what that does,
Free bet.
you must have been reading my book too. So it's a free bet, so therefore it reduces that 1.25 down to 0.864, which means it's only 4/5 of 1% less than 1% you are paying. That means if you bet $100, it's going to cost you $1, which is very insignificant for the entertainment, the casinos, for everything around it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the best bet. In roulette,
Before you go to roulette, will you tell them one more time, ignore all those propositions, the hard 8, the hard 6, the hard 10, the hard 4, the 11, the 7,
looks you've been there, Tom.
the pass line, and full odds behind.
Or the don't pass line.
Or the,
But if they all did that, we wouldn't have Las Vegas.
okay, but would you say it one more time? Forget those bets. All right, now...
Forget any bet that's got it. In other words, you're betting the 2 sixes and the 2 aces, and about 16 2/3% against you.
The casino operators love those bettors. They love them.
Undoubtedly.
Now, roulette. I got 30 seconds.
Well, let me do a card trick.
All right, do a card trick.
Pick one out. I usually like to end up. You look at it,
All right, 2 of hearts.
and I'm going to give this deck a little cut and take the 2 of diamonds. Place the 2 of diamonds there. I'm going to take that little 2 of hearts, and watch what I do. I'm going to have it jump over there. I'm going to have that one jump. I take this baby and I rub it like that. I snap my finger. It comes right over here.
Well,
It's no longer there. It's the jack of clubs there.
for heaven's sake.
Hey?
You know, when they said you're the world's greatest, they weren't wrong. Thank you, John. I have to go, but my guest has been Mr. John Scarne, and his newest book, the 23rd book, not the 14th, but the 23rd, is called Scarne's Complete Guide to Casino Gambling.
Scarne's Guide to Complete Casino Gambling.
Yeah, complete.
That was the other one. The first one was the complete. This is Scarne's Guide to Casino Gambling.
Scarne's Guide to Casino Gambling.
The other one, the other one I did, which is the Bible, that was the gambling guide.
Okay. John, I got to go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Ballantyne.